Hello and welcome to UK Supercross. This week we're up in the Midlands visiting Birmingham's National Exhibition Centre for the second round of the 125 Championships. And judging by the last round at Cardiff, the action here is going to be fast and furious. So coming up in the show, we're going to be meeting the men behind the motors, checking out the contenders, and of course there's all the action from the early rounds. Well, it's still early days as far as the championship's concerned, but the battle lines have been drawn and the gauntlets laid down for the race for the title, but also the keys to the tasty pickup truck. Round one in Cardiff saw Honda's Stephen Sword keeping his cool as Yamaha teammates Brian Jorgensen and Carl Nunn came to grief on the doubles. Sword stole the win as Jorgensen failed to regain his advantage and Nunn piled on the pain by slipping down into fourth behind Honda's Glenn Phillips. The race was a nightmare, however, for 99 champion Scotland's Billy Mackenzie, who went down in the tunnel and could only manage a disappointing 14th place. So Paul Malin, a very different circuit this weekend, isn't it?
Yes, it is, mainly because the ground is clay, so that means the circuit holds together a lot longer and makes the circuit more physically demanding for the riders.
Now there's going to be some tight competition here, isn't there?
Yes, there is. Once again, we're going to be looking at rider number 74, Honda Stephen Sword, who won the main event in Cardiff. Number 1, Billy Mackenzie, the reigning champion from last year, who's riding Yamaha. Number 3, Brian Jorgensen. Number 2, Carl Nunn. But also, we have a foreigner on board from Switzerland, a guy called Philippe Dupasquier, who will be riding the JCB Mike Church Kawasaki, riding number 4.
So with Sword sitting pretty at the top of the table, Jorgensen, Phillips and Nunn in challenging positions, Billy Mackenzie needs to have a good finish here to stay in contention. Just down the corridor from here is Hall 20, which is the home of Britain's largest bike show. Well, the bike show is Europe's largest annual motorcycle show, and over 200,000 people are expected to come and visit the wares displayed by over 270 separate exhibitors. To be honest, it's a show mainly about road bikes, but if you look closely, you'll see that even here, Supercross is making a splash. Yes, attracting over 60,000 spectators, Supercross became a must-see experience at the 2000 bike show. So, is off-road riding making a comeback?
Yeah, off-road in general, it is crossing over and it is growing without a doubt. It's definitely starting to grow. What's happening at the minute, you're getting a lot of road riders seem to be accepting the fact that off-road is also pretty cool, and you can perhaps have a road bike and an off-road trail bike to go green laning or trail riding on and enjoy that side of it as well. People that ride road bikes are looking at this and thinking, wow, this is fantastic.
The NEC reverberated to the sound of air horns as the UK Supercross 125cc Round 2 kicked off. Heat number 1 and number 15, Ricky Higgs, exploded from the gate to grab the whole shot ahead of number 2 plate, Carl Nunn. But Higgs' advantage was short-lived as Nunn saw his chance and took the KTM rider on a hairpin to steal the lead. Higgs then slipped down a further place as Adam Lyons slipped past him on the whoops. Meanwhile, Nunn extended his lead to cross the line in first, well ahead of Higgs, who'd battled back to second, and Billy Mackenzie in third. Heat 2 saw the first outing of new Team Kawasaki signing Philippe Dupasquier riding plate 4. But he was no match for number 3, Team Yamaha's Brian Jorgensen, who accelerated into the whole shot and ripped up the NEC circuit in a masterful display of Supercross riding to take the checkered flag ahead of Dupasquier. There was drama at the start of Heat 3 as Honda's Stephen Sword's bike died on the line. Sword desperately signalled to marshals, but the start went ahead without him. Sword was probably lucky as Kieran Clark flew over the handlebars in the first corner, causing a huge pile-up, which took out 3 riders. Meanwhile, at the front of the race, an epic battle was developing between 48 Danny Tollett and 45 John Barfoot. Tollett hung on to the lead until a mistake in the whoops allowed Barfoot through to take the win. Sword, meanwhile, bumped-started his machine and put in some of the fastest laps of the night to qualify in 5th.
So as the riders line up for the semi-final, it's over to Jack Bernicle.
This is the starting lineup then for the first 125cc semi, and alongside me, 3-time British champion Paul Malin. We're looking to see whether the British stars like number 1 Billy Mackenzie, number 2 Carl Nunn can defeat the foreign invaders. Number 4 Philippe Dupasquier, number 3 the former European motocross champion, the Dane Brian Jorgensen, riding for Yamaha. The gate drops, the start's essential. Mackenzie's slow out at the gate. Jorgensen looks good, but gets taken into the hay bales on the left-hand side, and that will really make his task a tricky one. At the front, the other foreign invader, Philippe Dupasquier, is the man in the lead in his first outing on the MJ Church Kawasaki. What a great start for him. Sean Stevens, a surprise second, and Alex Race, number 31, in 3rd place. The Yamahas of Billy Mackenzie and Carl Nunn have to find a way through. Mackenzie already has forced his way through into 3rd place, and Carl Nunn is trying to follow him.
Yeah, Carl is actually having to ride very, very aggressive on his first lap. He made a mistake, he ran wide. He actually looked like he ran his teammate Brian Jorgensen into the bales on that first lap, so there's going to be no love lost there, especially after they took each other out in the first round in Cardiff.
And the lead, though, Philippe Dupasquier, and surprisingly, Sean Stevens. I don't know whether he's got the fitness to last long in 2nd place. Mackenzie's trying to dip underneath him, and does, and Carl Nunn is about to do the same across the Red Bull jump. So the factory Yamahas now in 2nd and 3rd places. Can they do anything about that Kawasaki? Carl Nunn pursues the lanky figure of Billy Mackenzie, tries to get underneath him, but can't quite turn tight enough to make that pass in the first turn. And of course, while they squabble over 2nd place, number 4, the tiny Swiss star, Philippe Dupasquier, is making good his escape at the front.
Yes, he is. He's just got a clear track in front of him. He's able to pick his lines wisely. Billy Mackenzie there, number 1, he's riding on the inside lines and keeping Carl Nunn, his teammate, number 2, at bay.
Nunn goes for the inside line again across the whoops, tries to carry the momentum off the end of the whoops and into the right-hander at the end of the start straight, and this time I think he makes it stick. He forces Billy wide, no contact, fair move, and pushes his way through into 2nd place. Now, Carl Nunn, something of a pre-series favourite in the 125 class. Can he make a move on Philippe Dupasquier, who is the complete unknown newcomer? Well, not exactly unknown, because he once defeated the Americans and the French stars in Geneva on home ground in front of a howling crowd of 10,000 in the PAL Expo in Geneva. Here he goes through the whoops, but Carl Nunn once again trying to make use of that right-hand side. This time it doesn't work for him. Those whoops are very deep on the right side, Paul.
Yes, they are, Jack. As the riders are coming around into out of the turn there, the left side is being favoured by the riders at the moment. The whoops are a little bit lower through wear and tear. The right side is a little bit steeper. The whoops are a little bit bigger, more aggressive. And
Nunn is getting so aggressive. He turned himself almost inside out. Then he's got alongside Dupasquier, and he messes up just getting up the ramp onto the Red Bull jump. Loses the front end for a moment and loses his momentum. So he's got it all to do again.
yeah, he seems to be riding a little bit tense at the moment, Carl Nunn, number 2. He's pre-season favourite, or pre-series favourite, and he wants to stamp his authority after failing to win the first round in Cardiff, so he's really trying to work hard and trying to close down Philippe Dupasquier there, number 4 on the Kawasaki, but like I say, Dupasquier's riding really smooth, holding all the inside lines and making Carl Nunn work around the outside.
Nunn once again has closed the gap. How often can he do this? When will he succeed? 1 lap to go. We'll soon know. He's got to do it this time. Again, he favours the tight line over the whoops, but it's going to get awfully choppy seas for him, and he loses his rhythm.
Yeah, he's obviously not learned by his earlier mistakes in that race. The right side is the most difficult side to get down, and he's not going to make that pass down there as long as he tries to, as long as Philippe Dupasquier is riding down the left the way he has been all night.
So Dupasquier looks as if he might have this one in the bag. It will be a debut win for the experienced Swiss Grand Prix star in his first outing for the British MJ Church Kawasaki team. He wins. 2nd place for Carl Nunn. 3rd place, his teammate Billy Mackenzie, and through to 4th place, the 3rd of the Yamaha trio, Brian Jorgensen, the Dane, fighting hard to recover from his awful start and take 4th place from Ricky Higgs.
After the break, we've got action from the Red Bull Dirt Jump. We meet the men behind the motors. And of course, there's the finals for the 125 cc's, the second round of the UK Supercross Championships.